1 second I was like modelling, next second I'm filming a documentary, and then the next minute then I'm in Miss NI, and then next week I'm doing Paralympics. So who knows? I just said, like, if you're going to make a documentary about me, I don't want it to be some kind of sad story where it's like, oh, this wee girl got cancer and lost her bike. Like, oh. If you want to do a story about me, then keep it positive. Follow me, follow what I'm doing. Do you want an exclusive that I haven't spoken about? Okay. So this one I've been keeping secret for months. I actually shot an editorial for Elle Magazine, so that one's out then, I think, soon. So.
Here's the crack, here's the crack, here's the crack, here's the crack, here's the crack. Welcome back, talking shit, I'm drinking wine, like and subscribe. Here's the crack.
How's it going, people? Welcome back to another episode of the Here's the Crack podcast. We've another guest on, Bernadette Hagans. Hello.
Mm-hmm. Hey.
Long time no speak. The last time we talked to you was over Zoom.
Yeah, it was.
And there was a lot of stuff you kept from us, which we're not happy about, but here, we'll get around to it today. We have a list on that board, the size of my arm. We'll start off like how we're going to start off at most guest podcasts now, with a wee icebreaker. So I hope you're sitting comfortably, because Thomas is going to kick it off.
So basically, like, if you were to have your own podcast and you could have any guest on in the world, like, who would you have on and why?
Oh jeez, that's a hard one. You know who I'd probably want to interview? Selena Gomez.
Yeah.
Because she's done a bit of everything.
Yeah.
And I like that. I like people that try lots of different things.
Yeah.
So I'd want to maybe
What would you
interview
like chat to her about and stuff? Like, what would you want to know?
I think of like a lot of people like
I think that's a joke. It's serious.
I think a lot of people base everything that she does around like Justin and stuff, but then like she's been acting from she was really, really young.
She was a wizard as well. Like that's a bit shock.
Yeah, I like wizards.
How do you do that?
Yeah.
Well, sure, she was big before Justin Bieber even came about. Like, she was Disney Channel and all that.
Oh my god, yeah. Did you see all the videos from the Met Gala?
No.
Justin was there with Hailey. Sorry, I feel like I'm excluding you. Maybe.
Don't mind him.
Justin was there with Hailey, and then a lot of people in the crowd were chanting Selena to try and like annoy them.
Seriously?
Yeah. And then Hailey had to put on a pair of sunglasses and everything.
Him married and all, like.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
How mental is that?
That's mad. I think it's probably because they were together when they were younger and stuff, and everyone thought it was going to be this big.
I think that's a good question for you. Who would you ship more, Selena and Justin, or Hailey and Justin?
I don't know. They both seem so lovely. You can see there a lot of based on the fan base, people will post clips kind of showing one of them doing something bad and the other one doing something good. But then when you actually think about it, both of them just kind of want the best for him. So I think they're both really, really nice in their own way.
Yeah.
And like Selena and Justin were so cute, but it obviously hasn't worked out. So if he's happy with Hailey, then let him be happy with Hailey.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
You can tell you put a lot of thought into that.
Yeah.
I think I think Selena.
Yeah.
There's just something right about it. Like,
I just find it weird that like he was with her and then she like Hailey was sort of like the rebound, and then he got back with Selena and then went back with Hailey and then he married Hailey, and you're like sort of second choice.
I see all this stuff. I see all this stuff coming up on my For You page on TikTok where it's like basically saying like how bad he treats Hailey and stuff, like, you know, like slamming a car door in her head and all.
Yeah, I've seen all that too, and then he did the same kind of things to Selena, like he cheated on her so many times and all that. So he's done a lot wrong, and they both just kind of stuck with him.
He doesn't deserve
it.
either.
He doesn't deserve either.
Break up with Justin.
Poor guy.
But enough about Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez. We'll get on to you here. I don't even know where to start with this, to be honest with you. I think the first place to start would obviously be you've just came off the sort of, I wouldn't say the back off, but like you've just done Miss Northern Ireland. Yeah. Congratulations.
Thanks.
And you've signed like to a model agency and stuff. So where do you want to go to first? Does the model agency tie in well with the Miss Northern Ireland, or?
ACA and Miss NI are kind of run by the same girl now.
Okay.
Called Victoria Withers.
Okay.
Right.
So did Miss NI come off the back of you signing for the modelling agency, or were the two completely and utterly just two separate entities? Like
an accident, yeah.
Right.
The first thing that came about was Miss NI.
Right.
So do you want to ask me?
Yeah, go on ahead. Like start Miss NI.
The first thing that came about was Miss NI. They actually reached out to me and they were saying that they were starting heats for this year's competition, and they just said basically that they had been following me and liked everything that I was doing, and asked would I be interested in taking part in a heat. And
what is a heat? Can you explain the whole process? Because I think it's like nobody really knows. I don't think, like, what do you all do and stuff?
Because it was so new to me too. But usually, in different locations, they'll have like a bar, for example. So in the Belfast version, there's a chance that if there's a heat in Belfast, it'll be like the Broken Shaker, and 2 people will win that heat. So then those people will usually get a title like Miss Belfast and Miss Broken Shaker, and then it'll move on to a new heat in a different location. So that's what way it worked the year before, but the actual competition got cancelled because of COVID. So this year it had all of the finalists from last year versus the finalists from this year. So a lot of the titles and everything were already taken, and the heats then this year happened virtually, so we had them all over Zoom. Yeah, we had to submit tapes and everything of us walking and showing things.
Seriously?
And then we went online and we were in this call. I think in mine there was maybe 16 other girls and a set of judges, maybe like 5 judges, and then they went through each of us asking us all questions in front of each other.
And did they pick you out of like the 16?
Yeah.
Is it like really competitive? Like it's loads of people?
Yeah.
That's mad.
It was really competitive. I think everyone just wanted to try and show why they deserved to win. And my problem with it, I would say like one line and be like, okay, like I'll let someone else speak. And throughout the competition, then I had to learn to actually like push myself a wee bit more too.
And you were saying like there's people that proper like have like grown up, this is what I want to achieve type of thing. Like. Yeah,
most of the girls that will go into Miss NI and other competitions like that, they'll grow up with a dream of having that kind of title. Yeah. Usually it'll happen because of like their family or a friend, or just it's just what way they grew up. Yeah. I went into it completely blind. I didn't know anyone, so I winged a lot of it, but I learned through the process.
Was there any part of it you're like, Jesus, this is too much, like, or like was it stressful in any way? Or?
It was actually so fun. We got to do a lot of work with the sponsors and everything. I went into it thinking that the girls were going to be so
catty.
Yeah, because that was just the impression that I
speaking from my own experience.
Yeah, like you go into that kind of thing thinking that's how it's going to be, but I went into it and everyone was so lovely. Like I genuinely made friends for life with like all the girls. So they're so nice, and each of us all just kind of wanted the best for each other. I don't think any of us cared about who was going to win because we were all just so happy for each other. So
yeah, that's
nice.
Good, I suppose. But like, what all like? So what is it like? You're judged on and stuff. Like how do they pick a winner? I don't really know how it works.
Yeah, so we'll have
Thomas is taking notes here.
I just mean like
if
someone was listening,
must grow my hair out.
If they didn't know what it
must walk like this.
Yeah.
So whenever the winners of each heat are chosen, then you end up going into this like zone which okay, like the next thing then is the final. So you have work with the sponsors and you're judged at each of the events for the sponsors and everything. So you can be judged on if there's a competition for that actual sponsor, or you can be judged on like your outfits, how you act, things like that. But there was a sports day, there was a car day, like a super drive day, where the girls all had to like race cars and everything.
What?
Yeah, nice. Which is so annoying because I love cars, and that was the day that I didn't get to go. But then they knew I loved cars, so they arranged it a different day, and I got to go drive cars. So I was happy.
Nice.
But it just meant I didn't get to race because I think I would have won.
Well, they actually were put against each other and
like racing against each other.
Yeah,
was it like was it timed or?
I think it was timed. So they raced around the track, and whoever got the best time then won. But
so it wasn't like a NASCAR type thing where you're like bumping and shoving people.
That would be so fun.
Trying to run each other off the road now.
There would be that one girl who was really serious about winning it, like one of them movies, just like ran you off the road. Like try winning the beauty pageant now. That's so cool though. Like so you race cars, you like, so it's not like a pure you're in the room and you're doing like catwalks and stuff like all the time.
Like that was a part of it. Like the weekend before the actual final, we went in and we stayed in the Europa and we were judged the whole weekend, so we had to learn the right ways to walk on the final. There was different categories in the final that we were judged on, so it was things like swimwear, our black dress, like our black cocktail dress, our questions, we were judged on questions as well, and then like our evening dress. But there's so many different things that go into it all. But yeah, you're judging a lot before that. I think like a lot of people will look at a competition like that and assume that it's all about how you look, but the main thing is usually the beauty with a purpose. So they want to show that like girls can go into this, and like fair enough, like the girls in that competition, they were so pretty, like they were so lovely, but then there's so much that goes into them as people. Like there was scientists, CEOs, doctors, so they're amazing.
Man. Yeah. And you won that, no? You won the Beauty of the Purpose award? I
won Beauty of the Purpose. That was if I was to win anything to do with it, that was the thing that I wanted, and I got that, so I was really happy.
Job done.
Yeah. Time for me to go home.
How did that feel then, coming off the back of that? Because then obviously like you went in with one goal and you've obviously achieved it. A lot of people go in by just do a lot of girls go in and their main thing is I want to win this a whole thing. I don't
Yeah.
want to just win this one award. I want to win the whole thing. Whereas, did you come in and you were like, I have no interest in doing that, like, you know, winning the whole thing? You just want to win that one.
Yeah, I think we all love the thought of winning, but it wasn't my main goal.
Yeah.
And like, it's okay for like all the other girls to have that as their goal, but for me it was just about kind of proving a point. I was the first ever girl to ever go into that with any sort of physical difference or disability or anything like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And as far as I'm aware, it wasn't seen in any other country before, so I made history becoming a finalist.
Yeah, that's class.
Yeah, so if I was to win, then it would have been done in history books basically, because we would have been the first country to put a girl in for Miss World like that.
Yeah.
So I would have loved that, but at the same time I love just the fact that I got to become a finalist, because for me it's like I didn't grow up dreaming of becoming Miss NI. It was just a part of what was happening in my life, and I loved it, and I'm so glad that I done it. But it was like, if there's a girl, like a little kid growing up, and that's her dream, and she has maybe like no leg, then I would prefer for her to become the first to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I've just kind of started something, but someone else can finish it.
Yeah.
Fair play, innit?
Yeah.
You've definitely, I'd say you've opened a lot of doors for like the likes ones growing up, even seeing you do it, like at least they know, well, if she can do it, why can't I, type of thing.
Yeah, like after I became a finalist, I think I was the first ever finalist for Miss NI to become shared, I think even actually, to be shared by Miss World.
Right.
And then, so Miss World is, whenever you win for your country,
Yeah.
you'll go on to compete for Miss World.
Yeah.
But usually they'll only share like winners a lot of the time. I don't think there was ever a finalist from Miss NI to ever be shared.
Right.
So I think, as far as I'm aware, that I was the first ever to be shared.
Oh.
And after that, another country put through a girl with, I think she was missing her arms. So it's making a difference. So
Yeah. And then obviously you've signed for, because I've seen you've done a lot of work with DV8.
yeah,
Is that through ACA, or is that
yeah.
is that two separate things? Like, did you work for DV8 and then got signed for ACA, or?
Usually whenever you win Miss NI, you'll become signed with ACA. But I had experience modelling and everything already, so we ended up speaking and everything, and they wanted to sign me, so we ended up doing it, and I got signed in the middle of the competition, which I suppose is a bit mad even being able to say that, but yeah, I got signed with them, and I've been really lucky that I've got to do some work with them, because the girl that runs ACA and Miss NI is so lovely, and she just like started taking over everything, but she's doing amazing.
Yeah.
And what way does like an agency work? Like what exactly do they do for you, type of thing, if you know what I mean?
Yeah, a lot of them will put you forward for work, or if a brand wants you, they'll get in touch with your agency. But I've got a bit of a business mind, so a lot of the time I'll kind of do the work, but then say, okay, I've got this idea for you as an agency. So I'm a bit annoying.
So they would like they deal with the brands and stuff instead of you then, or what way does that?
Yeah, they can do. Sometimes I try to like deal with things myself, but then if I'm too busy, then I'll just sort of forward the emails on or forward the messages on and just say, can you sort that for me?
Takes a bit of pressure off you then.
Yeah.
And like, what sort of brand have you got? Any brand deals coming up you want to talk about, or is there anything you can't talk
Do you want an
about?
exclusive that I haven't spoken about?
Oh.
Do you?
Yes.
Okay, so this one I've been keeping secret for months. So a few months ago then I actually
No, you're allowed to.
Maybe not.
We can cut it out if you.
No,
it's an issue, like.
let's spill the tea. So a few months ago I actually shot an editorial for Elle Magazine, so yeah, that's been a bit of a secret for a few months.
That's massive, isn't it?
Yeah, kind of. I'm really lucky. I'm really happy.
Is that
with
like
it.
ELLE, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was thinking.
Oh my
I was
God.
like,
Yeah, so-
have I got this mixed up or something?
So that one's out then, I think, soon. So that's something I'm kind of
That's
excited
massive.
about.
Was that like is that because there's the cover shoots, if you know what I mean, but then is it like an actual, the word expose is coming to it, is that like whenever people do like take photos off you and then do like an article and stuff on you?
Actually, I think they might have got information about me, but I don't really know too much about it. I just kind of turn up. But yeah, we like shot like a whole campaign. There was so many different outfits and everything, like, and the outfits were insane. I just remember that because there's this like Versace dress that I really really loved. I was like, please, can I have it? But I didn't.
Did you not take it home?
No, I wish. I was too shy to ask. But no, it was so lovely. We went and shot the whole thing in London, so it's actually kind of funny because the documentary filmed me the whole way through that as well. So
It's class.
yeah.
Making
Amazing,
moves. I suppose since you've managed it, we'll move it on to the BBC documentary you're doing then.
Yeah.
So how did that come about then? Or?
They pitched the idea to me like a long time ago, but I didn't really have the time and everything, and then they ended up getting in touch with an agency that I work with, just saying that they wanted to speak to me, So then at the time I was like, okay, actually I've got like a bit of time here free now, so I'll speak to them. And the original plan was that I was going to present a documentary, and I was going to go and interview like people and everything, like kind of doing similar things to me, not the same, but sort of in the same industry.
Yeah.
That was the original idea, but then whenever they ended up meeting me properly and everything, and we got speaking, they wanted to learn more about me. Then they ended up changing the whole thing, and they wanted to make a whole thing about me. So
what's that like in terms of, like, me and you were chatting before this, and you were like, sort of, they were following you, but it wasn't such a big crew, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Were they just there, like, whenever you like woke up, did they just knock your door and be like, here?
Time to go. Not really. They did, like, they filmed me leaving my apartment and things like that, but it's funny because, like, they filmed me and, like, I was mic'd up basically for months, but a lot of it I vlogged as well, so even whenever the cameras weren't on me, I was sort of recording things in the way that I would have recorded it.
Yeah.
So it's nice. I think people are getting to see my life from other people's eyes, but at the same time they're seeing it from mine.
Yeah.
So we just recorded a lot of what I do.
Is the vlog part going to be in the documentary?
I think so. We'll see.
That's so interesting though, because that sort of shows that the TV's kind of embracing the more of the social media side of things. Like, vlogging's more stereotypically like YouTube, whereas that's pretty interesting. Like,
you know, it's funny, the main reason why the whole thing came about, like, obviously they spoke to me and everything and they loved my story, but the main reason that got the whole thing approved was actually a video that I recorded myself, because whenever I got diagnosed, I kept the whole thing a secret, but the first thing that I did after getting diagnosed was record a video in my car, and I was just saying, like, okay, like, I've just found out that I've got cancer, blah blah blah, they think that they might amputate my leg, but I'll keep you updated. I'm going to go and tell my family now that I've got cancer. So I recorded my raw reaction to finding out, and they saw the footage. So I think that footage is going to be in the documentary.
And who all saw that apart from?
So, like,
just really you?
I had the video and I cut it and I put like a few seconds into a video maybe a year and a half ago, and I took it down. But they saw the footage and the execs and everything seen it, and then they were just like, okay, we want to.
Did you post this on YouTube or something? Or?
Yeah, I posted it on YouTube, but then I took it down. Yeah.
It's mad to think that was the start of everything. Like,
yeah. So
and now look at where it's.
It's crazy, but it's funny because that was me vlogging, and now the whole thing is kind of based around that, and like other cameras following me, but also me just vlogging my life.
Yeah. So what all did they follow you doing in terms of, you were going over and doing the Elle Magazine?
Yeah. What
other stuff were you, like, was it a daily thing, or how long did this last for?
It was like months of filming, pretty much.
So was it going on whenever we filmed our last podcast?
Talks were going on at the time, yeah. We hadn't
I
really started.
remember saying to Ross, like, I think he'd said about the TV show, he'd seen you posted on your Instagram, and then I was thinking, like, was that the thing? She was a bit like, no, the thing's coming up, but I can't talk about it. It's like,
pretty much, yeah.
Fair play.
And what's that like, having the film crew follow you around all the time? Is it quite invasive, or do you act like yourself, or do you sort of act a bit different, a bit more reserved for the camera, or do you just let yourself go?
It's funny, like a lot of TV is pretty scripted and things like that, so there were certain things where they'd probably want me to do something, but I just like to mess about, like, that's just me, and like my social media probably doesn't show it that much, but like, for example, they would say, like, walk in and do this kind of thing, but like I never did it. I just did my own thing, so I kind of I just kind of messed about the whole way through it, and I think that's what people see in it. It's just me doing my own thing.
And was it hard to get used to?
It actually wasn't. I feel like I've got really used to, like, cameras and everything being around me. It was funny throughout my CNI though, because like, the girls didn't really know at first why there were cameras following us.
They were following you around at that time too?
Yeah, so they just assumed that the Miss and I was having like a documentary, so we kept it secret for a good bit of it, but so I could see that they were kind of nervous, or whenever cameras were on them they weren't really sure what to do, they were getting nervous and things. But
was this the girls in it doing Miss and
yeah,
like, so it was like the whole time you were doing it with there basically, and no one knew for like a long period. Were you not proper, like, how did you not slip up and just be like, oh yeah, like, is that not hard, like, keeping that a secret for so long?
I'm pretty good at keeping secrets. Yeah, it was funny. I think just because they just assumed that there was something being filmed about Miss NI, they didn't actually assume that it was about me. So
they're probably all the reason now that I can't on TV.
That's the thing. Like, I got them to spend a lot of time with, like, the team and everything. So they were interviewed and everything, because a lot of them have amazing stories, and I just kind of wanted to share them. Whether it actually makes the cut, obviously it's not really down to me, but I tried to get everyone time in front of the camera.
Yeah, it is mad though, because as soon as you walked in here, I was going to say to you about the documentary. I was going to kind of in a roundabout way being like, when's this coming out, just so we can kind of plan. And immediately as soon as you walked in here, so the documentary's coming out on here, I think you should release the podcast here. And I was like, yeah, okay.
I suppose we should say, like, the documentary will be out now then when this goes out, so go watch it.
iPlayer.
Yeah.
What date's it coming out?
It's out on the 29th of September, and it'll be available on iPlayer from like an hour after it. So
Great.
So it'll be on Wednesday the 29th, so we will have released this podcast on the Thursday, literally the day after.
Yeah.
Timing. Telling you.
Or we got a plan.
Madness. But I am surprised in all of that. Like, I messaged you a wee while ago and you immediately was like, wait till after the Miss Northern Ireland thing, and I was like, right, okay.
Yeah.
And then after the Miss Northern Ireland thing, like, Thomas was like, I don't think we'll see her again. And then I messaged you, I was like, Saturday at 4. Yep, no problem. And I was like, oh, okay, yep. And then I rung them. I was like, yeah, she's happy enough to go on. Like, that's mad. It was just so random. Like, because I messaged you and I was like, listen, like, we've got this face, any chance? And it was like 2 weeks in advance. I thought, like, no, like, it's going to be months before we see her, or if we see her at all.
I know, I love doing this podcast. I'm really glad that you asked me to come back on again.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing this. Flat out, like.
But so the documentary, like, that's mad. Miss Northern Ireland. Then you've also, this is not the first time a camera's been on you. You're on a TV show. You're acting.
I know. God, I can't even act. I'm dreading people seeing it.
What? Like,
what is the show then?
So the show is called Hope Street, and it's a BBC drama. I think it's out. It says autumn time, but I think it's around January time, maybe.
Right.
It's just a small role, like, but yeah, it's first for me. I can't believe my first ever acting
That's
role
class.
was.
So what were you doing?
Oh,
can you not say? All right.
Well, how I suppose, like, did that like come about because of the documentary? Were they sort of like, oh, we're doing this, would you want to be a part of it, or?
No, actually, that was one of, I vlogged that, and that was before we had fully started filming for the documentary as well. So I think that was maybe around the same time that I did the first podcast. I think I was doing all that, I think. But yeah, I get approached about like cast and things and everything, like acting roles that people want me to try for and everything, but if I'm too busy then I don't really get the chance to. But they actually asked me to read lines for a different character, and then I read them, and then they ended up creating me a character. So
you actually have dialogue.
Yeah, they created me a character pretty much because they want me in. So
what are we talking screen time wise? Like, is it a good like in it for a brave bit, like, or is that something
no,
you
it's
can't?
it's just a very small role. It's just
Right.
I recommend no one watching it. So I'm not in it actually. I'm not in it.
That's mad though.
Do you ever see that clip of is it like AJ Pritchard and Curtis?
Oh yeah.
And they're in Hollyoaks, and it's
Hollyoaks,
like
yeah, on the
that,
like, playground.
Yeah.
Like.
And it's like a meme. That's gonna be me.
Direct, like. But I just can't get over all this. Like, this is just too much. Like.
I think like you really had done.
I think we were like, I can't believe she's coming on. Like, she's just done Miss Northern Ireland. Now you're like, yeah, like, if this documentary coming out on a TV show now. So.
For those of you who are listening or watching, we have a list in the corner of the room. That list had about 3 bullet points on it, I would say, since before Bernadette walked in, and then as soon as Bernadette walked in, it's like, so what else? Like, fill us in. Well, I've done this and I've done that, and now the list is like 10 deep. So we're trying to work our way through everything. But that is mad. That is mad. Where did you film that at then?
We actually filmed it at Donaghadee, so just out by Malal.
Fair.
It's so funny because it's one of my like favourite places to go to, and then I got the role and I was like buzzing about that, but then they ended up sending the filming location. I was like even more happy. So
Yeah,
that was great.
And have you travelled a lot? Like, obviously COVID and stuff's probably restricted that, but like, have you done a lot of like you're back and forth to England and stuff and other places?
Yeah, I have been a wee bit. I was actually offered some really cool shoots and things like that in other countries that I had to turn down because of COVID.
Yeah.
Sad, but everything happens for a reason.
Yeah,
That's true.
And there's some other exciting things coming up anyway, so
Well, I think you're doing alright.
Oh, there's other more exciting things coming up. Oh my word.
Would you like, is America out of the question? Like, would that be something coming up?
Oh,
No.
she's smiling.
it's an option.
Moving on.
Another thing you were saying was about training for the Paralympics.
Yeah, how crazy.
That's mad.
I know.
Like what's happening with that? Is that currently doing stuff, or what is that?
So just before I became a finalist for Miss NI, I was learning to run and everything, and I actually learned to run on a running foot, which isn't recommended for taking running serious. It's just kind of for people that want to take it easy, I suppose. But there's a video of me like trying that for the very first time, and then it got seen by, I think, someone from Team GB and also Team Ireland, and it wasn't bad, I suppose, for running on that kind of leg and for your first try. So
is this like the leg you have now, or like is that like a blade you're talking about? Or
yeah, so I ended up switching from that, and I moved on to like a small blade, but then I was pretty decent on that as well for some reason, and then I ended up getting switched to a proper sports running Nike blade. So
the proper thing, like,
yeah, the real deal.
What is that like, you know, like what's the difference for like switching from a leg to a blade? Like, do you notice a big difference yourself? Like, what is that like?
It's so bouncy, it's amazing. So like, it's so weird.
They look so bouncy.
Yeah, it is.
They do.
Like, I actually, every time I'm on it, I feel like a Pixar lamp, you know, and they're just like so it's so good.
Is that not difficult to alternate between two legs, like, because you're bouncing off one and then the other one's just
you're
flat,
bouncing off one,
like your legs just flat then on the other one? Isn't that like
it's
hard to balance?
It's strange, yeah, because like on the blade, you're basically, everything that you do is on the toe of the blade.
Yeah.
Whereas on a regular walking foot, you use your heel. So well, it depends, I suppose, on the leg. Like certain knees and everything, they'll lock the leg out themselves. But on mine, and when I'm walking, I do everything manually. So I'll go on my toe to make a bend and on my heel to lock it out for every single step. But on the blade, you don't have that option. Yeah. So that's why a lot of people, when they run, if they're through the knee or above the knee, they'll get a blade that sort of swings out the way. So it's a fixed blade. But I like a challenge, so I got I got a knee joint added into my blade, so I run like regular running, but it makes it harder then because every single step that I'm taking, I'll be watching. Sorry, I was going to bring in a song, but anyway, so so I have to bend the knee and also make sure that I'm landing on a specific part of that blade to bounce off that, then to keep on running. So like one wrong thing and I could fall. But
that's the thing I was going to ask, and like, you see if you're running that, and then you're saying here, I need to land on a specific part of the foot. Yeah. What's that like? Because I know if I wanted to walk out here and put my foot on a specific part, I know because I can like feel it. Yeah. Whereas you can't you can't feel that because it's just like a mechanism, if you know what I mean. So what's that like in terms of like, how do you train for that?
I think that's what I've kind of got really lucky with. I've just kind of taken to a lot of it naturally. Yeah. But you can kind of feel it in a way, like you can feel sort of your position and everything, and you can feel
vibration and stuff.
Yeah, like you can feel sort of where it's like going to land, sort of. So it's strange, like for example, like my sister-in-law's wee son, like he'll hit certain parts of my leg and everything and ask, can I feel it? And I can always tell like exactly where he is, even though I can't feel that leg. So you can kind of suss it out a bit. Yeah. So.
Fair enough.
So what is the aim with that? Like, are you like aiming for like the next Olympics? Hopefully take part in it. When is that?
That would be amazing. I think it's like maybe 2023, 2024 maybe.
And what way does the training work? Like is there like a date you have to try and be?
I think like first of all you have to go for your classification so that you find out what sort of grade you'll run in. Right, okay. Or compete in, I suppose, for any sport, sorry. But yeah, I would go for my classification. I've offered a chance to go for my classification back in June or July time, but I was busy with my SNI and a few other things. So a few other things. But yeah, I was too busy, so I was also offered the chance then around January, February time. So that's the goal. So I'm gonna have to start training a good bit and then find out my classification, and then after that it's just about training to try and make it, I suppose.
Yeah. And you were saying this is the 100 meters, isn't it? Or?
Yeah, that's what I would like to do.
Well, good luck with that.
Thanks.
Have you tried 100 meters? Like, have you timed like 100 meter? Like what?
Not on this blade. So we'll see.
On what is the blade? Is it like a specialized like Nike one?
Yeah, it's got like it's like the full like adult blade and everything, but yeah, it's got like the Nike grip and everything. So.
Mad. Yeah. Big time.
Yeah.
That's mad.
I've had to turn down a few big brands.
Have you actually?
Yeah.
Big cut. Did
that like Nike come to you with that, or is that just
actually
it's just the one you wanted to use?
Yeah, it just depends. It depends on the person and everything, and the kind of blade that they want and what's best for them, and that was just what worked for me.
So you have to turn down brands because of Nike, or because like is this brands that are wanting you to use their like like
that's
a leg?
the thing. I don't know what other brands. I don't know if, like, what other brands have like grips and things for like that for blades. But I know Nike is they work well with Osser, who create like the blades. So a lot of the time it's usually between Osser and Autobach. And there's a new one actually I think at the minute called Levitate, but they'll usually work with the prosthetic brands and then they'll create it that way, and that's what works for me. So
yeah. And then obviously keeping in sort of relation to the sports and stuff, you've just completed you were walking with Rory Best.
Yeah. Oh, he's so amazing. I can't believe it. He just walked 180 miles from the Daisy Lodge site in Newcastle here to the site of the new Daisy Lodge in Mayo, over 9 days. So I got to walk on the first day. I walked a good bit with him, and we just spoke about like kind of everything that I've done, and we spoke about his reasons for wanting to do what he was doing. But yeah, he raised over €500,000. So unreal, because
that's crazy.
Yeah, because that was one of the things I kind of, like I always say, I'm like really annoying, but whenever I was at Daisy Lodge for the first time, that was one thing I brought up, because I've got the chance to speak to a lot of people in the south and everything, and something that I noticed was they don't have the same kind of services that we have here for anyone that's experiencing cancer. So the likes of here, we had our Daisy Lodge, they didn't have access to that because they're across a border that's not even a border, do you know? So like Craic and everything, that's across the UK, but they didn't have access to that again just because they're like 20 minutes down the road. So one thing I brought up then was that I got to know a lot of families and they weren't getting the things that they needed, and I was saying that I really thought that they needed something in the south. So then I was really lucky then whenever they started having meetings and everything about it, I was kind of kept in the loop, and then they bought the land then in Mayo, and I were just basically fundraising to try and actually build the lodge to be able to provide the services then in the south.
And have you met families and stuff that are sort of are going through what you went through? Yeah,
I've got the chance to meet a lot of families, like a lot of young people. Even during COVID and everything, I've done Zoom things and everything with some of the kids. But yeah, it's happening every single day, and I think a lot of people just don't realise it. And there's so much that needs to be done. But yeah, the south is just, they just need like so much more support. So I'm just really happy that I'm getting the chance to actually be a part of that. Yeah,
and if there's anyone like listening that wanted to donate or anything, like where would you do that? Or
we have the Daisy Lodge for Mayo page, or also the Cancer for Children page. They usually have a fundraising link in their bio, so I would say one of those.
Yeah, fair enough.
Go donate that.
Yeah.
Were you going to ask something there? You kind of spoke, and then I spoke.
I forgot what I was going to say.
All right, okay. Awards as well. Obviously, Miss Northern Ireland you got the Beauty with the Purpose one, but you've went on and won other awards.
Yeah, I'm
Miss Northern Ireland isn't enough for you. You're like,
I got a Warzone win for the first
time.
That's the one you're most excited about.
Yeah. So I was awarded the Diana Award, and it's the highest accolade that a young person can achieve, I suppose, for social and humanitarian efforts. So I'm really happy.
Right, and then that goes on for you to...
Yeah, so after you win that, then you have the chance of being nominated for the Legacy Award. So I'm currently nominated for a Legacy Award too.
And you were saying that, who awards you that?
I know, I think like whoever wins that and everything, I think they get to meet the royals and stuff like that. So usually even with the Diana Award, you get to go to this event and everything and you're properly awarded, but with COVID then it didn't really happen, so everything was just kind of over Zoom, so I got my award posted out to me.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it worked.
Sort of putting a spider on a lot of things.
Yeah.
But like there just seems to be so much happening in terms of like, how do you keep track of all this now?
How did you even have time to do this?
I get so confused. My sister-in-law, like I swear, like half the time I'm with her, like she sees my phone and then she'll just be like, okay, like I understand why you haven't texted me back in like 3 hours, because she'll see like my notifications and stuff. It sounds so stupid saying that, like I know it's just like notifications, but sometimes I'm just like confused. So I usually tell people if I haven't replied like the first time, like spam me. So then I'll see it.
What does your week look like? Like what would you be doing on a normal week in terms of like work and stuff? Like does it just sort of vary? You know?
Yeah, it's so random. It's so random.
And do you like that? Like sort of just being all over the place type of thing? Or?
Yeah, it's funny then, because it's like people are always asking me like, what are you up to, or what are you doing next? And that's what's kind of funny about it, because like one second I was like modelling, next second filming a documentary.
Yeah.
And then the next minute then I'm in Miss NI, and then next week I'm doing the Paralympics. So who knows?
What is it like going forward? Like what do you enjoy the most? Like what is it you want to be doing like going forward?
In the future,
Yeah.
my long-term goal, I would love to present.
Yeah.
I think I would love to present maybe like a TV show or something like that, or a segment on a TV show.
Have you any in particular that you'd want to?
The Cube.
The Cube.
The Cube.
You're obsessed with the Cube. Like.
Is there if there, like any shows on now you're like, oh, I'd love to be presenting that?
It's a hard one. There,
Well, what type of show? Like, do you mean like a game show or like a news or like
Graham Norton vibes?
probably
chat show or something?
yeah,
or?
maybe something chatty, or maybe like a game show, something fun like that.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'll host like a gaming tournament. I think that I was like speaking about that. I would love to do that.
That'll be cool.
Yeah,
That's cool.
because then I think I'd really enjoy that, like talking about gameplay and stuff.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
But is there any programs on like the likes of BBC and all that are like highlighting, like you're talking about families and stuff that are obviously getting affected by like the stuff that you went through? Is there any shows that are on that are highlighting that, where like, is that like a niche that, you know, you could be presenting a show that's kind of putting a spotlight on what you're effectively trying to put a spotlight on at the minute, you know?
I suppose I've thought about that a lot. Actually, like even families, even if it's not cancer, like if it's other kinds of illnesses and like things like that. Like in the south, they have the Late Late Toy Show around Christmas time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's
that
coming up now.
yeah, so that's like really really great for kids and everything. But I would love like a UK version or something like that maybe that I could
like,
get to help out with.
There's nothing in Northern Ireland like in terms
Yeah.
of chat shows, really, is there?
Not really, actually. Like nothing.
You can have your own chat show.
Who wants to be a guest on my chat show?
That's you're coming on here for experience.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Surprised.
Time to start interviewing all three of you. So why me?
I would not like that at all. Like, if you just broke out and started asking us questions, I'd be like, yeah, we're leaving. It's
I think
not
I did
happening.
that. Actually, I think I did that on our first podcast. Like the first time I did it with you.
I think you asked us a question. Was it? Yeah, you asked a question at the end, and we were all like, oh,
Yeah, you
shit.
reversed
Yeah.
it. Yeah, you
Yeah.
reversed it
Yeah.
on us so hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then obviously the Spirit of NI award as well.
Yeah.
Is that like
Like-
kind of the same as the Diana Award but for Northern Ireland, or what? Like,
I think so. I think like someone nominated you, so I have no idea who nominated me. So if anyone wants to come forward,
God damn it, I'm so busy.
Because I had no idea. I was actually on my way back from Limerick, and I had just got back, and my phone had like all messages and everything, and then one of them was just saying like, well done on becoming a finalist and everything. And I was like, what do you mean? What have I done?
crazy,
But yeah, then they sent me a thing, and I found out that I was a finalist. So there were 4 finalists, and yeah, I had no idea that I was even nominated. So I'm really really happy. Can't believe it.
Class.
Yeah,
That is pure mad.
it's so crazy.
Would you ever, like, are you planning on being based in Northern Ireland, like, or is there a stage where you're gonna be like, right, I feel like I could take this like further in terms of like, would you ever move to the likes of abroad or like England or something? Like, would you feel like there's a certain point in Northern Ireland? Because one thing we were talking about with like other people is Northern Ireland kind of seems to be, you can only get really so far.
Yeah. I
So
think a lot of people have that kind of feeling. For so long I have as well. I feel like sometimes here it gets to a stage when people are doing well, then people kind of get annoyed about it because they
Yeah.
don't want to see some people doing well. So
Yeah.
I think every guest people wants
Well,
to.
literally
Yeah.
everyone is like
Yeah.
in Northern Ireland, it's like you do well and then you get the like people only want you to do so well, and then they're like,
Yeah.
right, that's it, stop.
yeah, like
They want to
never-
just bring you down. Like.
literally I think that's like the issue. But at the same time, if everyone keeps leaving, then
Yeah.
who's gonna
nothing's
be
gonna
here?
change.
It's not going to change. No.
Yeah.
And it's people with them that don't have that mindset that are leaving.
Yeah, so like there's opportunities and things like that. But I don't know, I like traveling, so maybe I could go back and forth.
Yeah.
And are you experiencing that? Like, are people, like, do you feel like now people are kind of curbing you in terms of they're trying to sort of keep you where you're at the minute and no more? Like,
No, not really. I think because no one really knows what I'm doing.
yeah.
Because I even like some of my friends and everything have no clue about things that I'm doing, and I just kind of pop up doing things. Like none of them even knew that I was a finalist in Miss NI until I posted about it. So yeah.
So you don't have any time to tell anyone. Like?
Yeah, so I just kind of do things. So
Do you,
yeah.
do you think there is like a lack, let's say, like a lack of opportunity here in Northern Ireland? Like, do you think that's why a lot of people do go away, because there's just
Yeah, I think so. People will usually end up going down south, or they'll go to England usually.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe something just has to change. Maybe there has to be more opportunities here for people.
I know, that's like, it's the thing I always think is like, you look at the likes of Graham Norton, who is like he is Northern Irish, isn't he? Or is
I think
he?
he's down south.
No, he's
Down
down
south.
south.
But like, it's like things like that. He's over in England doing a chat show, and there's like nothing like
Probably
that
one
here
of the biggest chat shows
in the world, like
in the
really.
world,
Like.
and he's from Ireland, like,
Yeah.
And then
It's
like
mad.
it's like RTE is a massive thing, but then there's nothing like in Northern Ireland. Like, it's
Yeah, I think it goes back to like even like media things here. A lot of them are run by like older people who don't kind of understand that. They're not bringing in a lot of younger talent and things like that. So usually a lot of the time when you look at TV, you like, it's always things like the Troubles. Like, it's still talking about the same things.
Yeah.
And I think like it's not that we're bored of it, but we're all aware of it, and some of it's just kind of yeah, it's like obviously like our history and stuff, and we understand it, but at the same time, like, we
a lot
do
of people don't want to let go, sort of.
yeah, and we have to move forward. Like, we can't just keep on reminding ourselves of it every single day. So
I feel like if you did talk to the majority of people in Northern Ireland, they would far rather replace certain talk shows, not naming names, but like certain talk shows where it's like literally like back and forward, like people ringing in and complaining about, like, you know, that's for a
but that's
you know,
like, it's like the biggest show, let's be honest, in Northern Ireland's probably the known show, like.
yeah,
And it's all about sectarianism, like.
that's what's so annoying. That's what kind of makes me happy about the fact that my like documentary and everything is coming out, because it's not something depressing. And that was actually my main thing going into it and everything. I just said, like, if you're going to make a documentary about me, I didn't want it to be some kind of sad story where it's like, oh, this wee girl got cancer and lost her leg, like, oh. It's like, if you want to do a story about me, then keep it positive, follow me, follow what I'm doing, don't try to like make it seem sad or depressing, because I think that a lot of our TV here is that way, and I think that needs to change. So I'm really happy that I'm actually like a young person from here that's doing a show like this, because you don't see it. It's always things about the Troubles.
Hopefully you do change things for people.
So who's next? Who wants a show?
yeah, but it's mad, like, because a lot of, like, you see a lot of the TV programs are like segments on the news, and it's like the stereotypical sad music, and then like you're walking along like the river or something, and you're looking out into the distance, and it's like Bernadette, whereas like you're probably like, what's up?
I know, literally, it's so funny, because like that's what I'm kind of happy about with this documentary. It's like I was saying before, you see me just messing about through a lot of it. Like, obviously some of it you have to get the scene that you want, but like, it's like you see a lot of my personality, whereas in like these like news clips and everything that I've had to do before, or like news articles that have randomly been released about me, it's always kind of like amputee, model, cancer survivor and stuff. And like, obviously that's the truth, but at the same time, like, there's so much more to me, and
substance.
You don't
like
want to
that.
just be known for that, like.
So the clips are always like really like sad music, me like like Zoom things with my leg, the star of the show, but it's part of it, I suppose. But yeah, I think that people need to start focusing on things that are a bit more positive.
And coming back to the Miss Northern Ireland thing as well, like, see, whenever you're competing in that, like, there was I seen a few stories and stuff, like, people like what was that like on the actual night, like, because I feel like there's so much build up to it, and then on the actual night, like, I think I seen it on Rebecca McKinney's story off Cool FM, and it was like, I couldn't imagine doing, like, did you, like, I seen people playing guitar. What's the crack with that?
We actually had a talent, like, you could win talent as well, so we had like a talent night.
What did you do?
I just drank. I didn't do one. I'm not talented.
You just got up on stage and they're like, I'm gonna dance.
that was the first.
Watch me down 3 pints in 10 seconds.
Thing what people do with like the knife and the champagne bottle.
I cracked it open with my leg. But no, I just watched. So that was the first event that I drank at. So I was very happy.
Yeah, fair enough.
And like, what then after that? Were people like playing guitar, and what other things? Like, is it like a big school talent show basically?
Pretty much. The Broken Shaker held it, and everyone sort of put themselves forward in what they wanted to do. So there were singers, like Anna, who won. She played piano and she's amazing. One of the girls created an app, a Miss NI app, so she presented that.
What?
So there are so many different things that people could do, but yeah, I don't have a talent, so I didn't do that. But the 3 winners ended up going on and doing their talent on the night of the final.
Very good.
Yeah.
Seems like so much to it. That's mad.
Think you could do it?
Don't know why.
What about Mr. NI? You going for it?
Definitely not.
What would you do?
I'd probably need to lose weight first.
But like, on the actual night, like, you see people like going out and like walking up and down, like, did you have to, like, what's it like? I'm putting myself in a position where, like, you said about doing like the swimsuit stuff.
Yeah.
So like I'm imagining me walking out
In a bikini.
and like but in my swim shorts in front of like a whole crowd of people.
Yeah.
What's that like? Like,
it was funny. I think when we were all like when leading up to it, basically like a lot of us were dreading that part the most, because like that's where you're fully getting judged. But on the actual night of it, I think that's when we all probably felt most confident, weirdly enough. But we were actually questioned by the judges as well before the final started in our swimwear as well. So when you go in for question with the judges, you have your first round in swimwear, and the second round you're judged in your evening dress. So then on the night of the final, then you just go straight out there in your swimwear in front of everybody. But
is it just like individually, or you go out as a group?
With the judges.
Like what, in front of everybody, like because there's obviously the judges, and then like maybe I'm wrong. Was there not a big crowd at it, like of other?
Yeah,
people?
so before the final starts, you're judged by the judges in private, but then on the actual night of the final as well, like when it's happening, you're judged again by the judges and in front of the whole crowd. And a lot of the girls were separated into groups of 3, but I was the very last girl, so I walked with one other girl, so we were a duo doing that, so we were able to just bounce off each other, which was really good. It was fun. It was funny for me as well, because there hadn't been any sort of like full photos of me or anything like out there in swimwear since my leg, so that was me just kind of taking that part back as well.
Yeah, that's mad.
Yeah, so my first time like fully being shown in swimwear since my leg was in front of that huge crowd, filmed and everything, and it's all in my documentary too. So
was there a build up?
Yeah.
So that's it's not just like a going out and sort of in swimwear and getting judged. It was a lot more than that for you, like. Yeah,
because it's like obviously like I was the one that looked a bit different and everything going into it, and it had never been seen before. But then
were you nervous?
No, I don't know why, but I wasn't.
Do you think that helped you? Like, would that be something that pushes you forward, that you are different from the rest of them, or?
Yeah, I think it all comes down to mindset. So like I went into this, and a lot of people were seeing me as like, oh, that's the girl who doesn't have her leg or whatever, and people were like seeing it that way, or like, oh, like what's she gonna do, like as the one without her leg. But I was seeing it as, I'm the one with a prosthetic, I'm the one with a colour changing leg. So I think it's all about mindset. So I was going into it really excited.
Fair.
Was it hard to judge? Like, did you go with like one? Because the last time we were talking, you had sort of said you had one leg that you changed, like wrapped. Did you have one leg throughout the actual night, or did you like switch about?
I switched about a wee bit. So on the actual day of the final, I think my leg started white, and then I switched to my blade, and I was filmed in my blade and everything. And then no one knew what my leg colour was going to be until the final started, and then I switched to my leg, and it was a rose gold leg. So
nice. Was that wrapped then? Was it?
Yeah, like a car.
Was that like a hard thing to do, like get that colour, or was that just, is it handy enough done?
No, because I knew my dress was going to be rose gold, and I wanted to match it and everything. My dress, it was so funny, we finished my dress the night before the final, because I switched my mind like the week before. I had one fitting of my dress and it was too big, and then we basically just adjusted everything the night before the final. So I hadn't even walked in my dress basically before we did the final. So
stressed out.
Yeah, it was actually so fun though. I'm so like fast paced with things. Sorry if no one can understand me, by the way. I speak really quick and we have a lot of topics, so I'm just trying to get through everything, so I'm not holding you all back. But
that's another thing you were saying earlier about you've started rapping now.
Yeah, I've started rapping. Yeah,
you've got
I've got a SoundCloud.
You'll see the confidence on that mic there.
Yeah.
We picked up beforehand, started beatbox, and I was like, what are you doing, Bernadette?
I'm gonna break into the Belfast rap. Do any of you remember that? Do you know it? Probably won't, actually, because you're all country. You're all country, aren't you? Yeah, like Ballymena and Armagh.
Yeah. I wouldn't say I'm an agree.
You are.
You probably are the most.
The message that came in the group chat the other day from Thomas was like, Shay, there's a cowless on your road. And Shay was like, forgot to shut the gate. Shay's like, no, I'm not country.
Yeah, we had it was so funny growing up. There was like Belfast rap. I won't actually break into it because no thanks, but
no, please do.
Wait, what is Belfast rap like?
Oh, YouTube it if it's still available. But yeah,
I'm gonna keep pressing you until you do it. You'll do it.
I'll do it
after
off
camera. But yeah, on that there, you obviously done work with Terry Bradley.
Yeah.
Who I was kind of looking into before this started, but we'll explain that there. So
Terry Bradley is so talented. I would say he's probably the best artist from here. He's so well known and so well respected, and I was so happy for the chance to get to actually meet him, and we spoke about things, and he's had a lot of his own battles and everything in the same way that I've had to face like things so we just connected in a lot of different ways, and he loved the fact that I was customizing my leg and turning my leg into my own sort of accessory and art piece. And that's what he does. He creates art. So we got speaking, and I had the idea of trying to like put his talents with mine or whatever in a way, and creating some kind of customized leg, because we're both from here and we want to show like what that stands for, and everything stands for. Sorry, leg joke. But then yeah, so where's that mic? I'll drop it. So we spoke about a lot of things, and then the original plan was to create a replica leg, and he was going to paint directly onto my leg and turn it into like a one-off art piece, because I feel like it is a form of art, because like even me changing my leg and everything, it's not usually seen, so it's something different. And we have people contacting us, like me and Art in Motion, who I work with to create these, from all over the world, saying that they want their leg to look like mine. But so
you were saying like in the first podcast we done, like there's like kids and stuff would have said I want your leg, because like with rap on it, people weren't really doing that, were they? No.
Yeah, it wasn't a thing, and even then you have to sort of understand what way prosthetics work to be able to do it properly, because like any car place could try to jump at the chance to do it, but you have to understand the whole mechanisms behind it, and certain things can't be wrapped, and like certain legs have to have certain things left open, and the different knees, like you need access to like certain like screws and certain points of the leg, so there's so much that goes into it. But I've learned a lot, and I've been working with Art in Motion and kind of trained them in a way as well, and they know how to wrap, but I'm just teaching them sort of about
the Belfast wrap.
Yeah, the Belfast wrap. Yeah. But yeah, we've done a lot of work with that and everything, and we get contacted from all over the place. But that's something actually that I'm doing with Terry Bradley too. I'm connecting Terry Bradley and Art in Motion, and we're going to design a wrap then, so that it's available for anyone else with like prosthetics, or if they want to wrap their car panels or like their full car or furniture or anything, they can get then a limited edition Terry Bradley wrap as well.
I don't want to give away what the wrap is, but what thinking has went into designing it, or can you give any of that?
Something really cool. We're still like,
when is that happening? Just like if anyone listening like wants to like look out for it, is it this year or what? Like,
yeah, I would say this year, within probably the next like 2 months.
There's not like a set date, is there? No.
We're actually announcing something pretty soon in regards to wraps and everything, so they'll see that probably within the next 2 weeks. But the Terry Bradley one, we'll see.
Keep it under wraps.
Yeah.
LOL.
I feel like there's so much you're not telling us.
Yeah, well,
I think she's told us enough, like fuck's sake.
I'm giving all the exclusives here.
What more do you want?
A few times in this we've asked something, you've been like looking at Thomas like shop.
I'm quickly like changing the subject or switching the question. Yeah.
But we've pretty much got through our list.
Yeah.
What else is there? Nothing? Or
Twitch? Coming soon?
Yeah, Twitch. I'm going to be streaming on Twitch, so if anyone wants to watch any gaming videos or me like completely failing, then come and watch me on Twitch.
And you've got a gaming PC or something now?
Yeah, it's coming, it's on the way. They scammed me a wee bit. They said it was going to be next day delivery, but then next day delivery apparently means 2 months, so
oh god.
Oh no.
Shade has been thrown.
Yeah. I got it. Yeah, so no, they're giving me I think they try to fast track it and everything, so I'll get it by the end of the month, which is good. So at the minute I'm just streaming on PlayStation 5, but I'll probably just do a wee few things from my Mac as well. But yeah.
Look out for that.
Yeah. So if you want to host a Warzone tournament or anything, I'm happy to present it.
I don't know if I'd be any good in it, like, but
yeah, like a Northern Irish.
We can organise the event and you can host that.
Yeah, you can do like everyone who like are Irish or Northern Irish or whatever, and they can all enter, and it's a tournament for here. People pay their entry fee, and whoever wins first, second, third prizes, I'll host it.
There you go.
That was so
Sounds
much
like
information thrown to me at once.
Yeah,
I had to compute.
Yeah, so if you want to enter, here's the crack.
No.
Here's how you can do it.
But like that, we're pretty much through that list, so I don't want to keep you for any longer because it's a Saturday and I appreciate it.
This is so
probably
funny.
has things to do.
So anything else you want to add, or anything else?
Anything upcoming?
I don't know, actually.
What do you mean anything upcoming? Of course there is.
Probably,
You can't tell us.
Actually, I can't think.
I suppose like go watch the BBC documentary if you haven't watched it.
Yeah, so yeah, if people want to see everything that I've been up to in my life, it's a chance to kind of see everything that I do.
And what's your hopes for that? Obviously you're wanting to spread awareness and stuff for you know what you've went through, but like what is there anything wider than that you're kind of wanting? Like, is there a certain goal that you're trying to hit, or what is the sort of plan?
Yeah, I think overall I kind of want to show that it's okay to be different and I'm still able to do everything. And when you find out maybe that you're losing a leg or you have cancer, I think people automatically assume the worst, and not every cancer story has to be a sad story. Losing your leg isn't the end of the world. Like, I can still do a lot of things, can still do everything. Some things I just do differently. So I just kind of want to show that it's okay. I'm still happy. So
I think you're a good example of like, what aren't you doing? Like, holy shit. But yeah,
everyone's gonna be sick of me.
Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me. This was fun.
And giving us all these exclusives.
We're probably gonna pre-book you in another like 6 months.
Yeah.
Nothing Netflix related, no. Oh, right, okay, right, we're ending this here. No, thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you.